All right, so it's all about growth and being resilient, right? It's about sticking to it, stick-to-itiveness, grit, determination. Why don't we do that? But we don't do that because we're scared to death. You know, we're afraid, we're freaking out. We don't want to go past our comfort zone. These guys go past their comfort zone every day. You guys know the Dude Perfect guys, the trick shot artists? How ridiculous guys. They're from Australia. They do the same thing. These guys are professional failures. They fail and fail and fail until they get it right. These guys spent 6 days trying to make a basket off of a 200-meter cliff in Africa until they got it right. They're professional failures, and when they got it, it was incredible. They actually, their team vision is awesome. It is about what we should do in our classroom. Look at that. Dream big and be ambitious. Take risks. Be innovative and creative. Laugh, have fun. Cultivate internal drive. That internal drive should add a little bit of stress. Right? They should be a little stressful because the Yerkes-Dodson says that with stress, the right amount of stress, we reach optimal performance. If the NBA team's playing against the third grade basketball team, it's over here, they're boring and they're not in optimal performance mode. Vice versa, if it's too stressful, they're not going to be able to perform either. Carol Dweck talked about mindset. So getting our kids to do this, it's because of their mindset. They talked about fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Too many of our kids are on travel teams. They made a travel team. Hey, I'm great, I was born gifted. Those are the people that are hard to get because they have a fixed mindset. They don't think it's because of work. They think it just comes natural. This guy, Tony Wagner, came to our school one time. He creates innovators. Let's look at some innovations. You can dry your clothes on the way to school. That's a good innovation. You got to go skating with your baby. You can take them along with you. You got the one-wheeled car. And the Russian flying tank, real thing. This guy was extremely innovative, made a parachute suit. He trusted his innovation so much he tried it off the Eiffel Tower. It didn't work out for him. That's innovative, right? And my generation remembers this innovation. If you don't know what that one is, talk to me afterwards. All right, we're all tech folks, so the laser disc, how long did that last? The first Walkman? When Windows added some security, we had the Control-Alt-Delete pusher because adults couldn't hit Control-Alt-Delete at the same time. And Microsoft Clippy, the first AI kind of guy out there, and we always figured out how do you get rid of him. He tried to teach you how to use Office. Let's face it, all of those were failures, right? All of those, in some respect, by some definition, were failures. Right? But we've got to make sure that we understand that failure is not always failure. That's the Petri dish, Jonas Salk, creating penicillin by mistake. Right? The Slinky wasn't invented as a toy. The Slinky was invented by an engineer trying to make a spring for one of his inventions. And it didn't work out really well for his machine. And I think you've all heard the 3M story. They were trying to make the stickiest glue ever, and they found one that was just sticky enough, and they said, we got to use this. We got to make a product out of it. Right? We don't go past comfortable because when we do, we feel like we're swimming upstream. We feel like we're a fish out of water sometimes. We freak out. We're scared. Right? We're scared that the bear's going to eat us. You know, we all do that. We see our kids do that all the time. Adults are worse. Anybody ever been parachuting? You don't want to fail in parachuting, do you? What's the most important job in parachuting? Probably the person that packs the parachute, right? So here's some data. Everybody loves data. Who would you have pack your parachute?
None of them.
None of them. Maybe good answer. But if we look at the data a little differently, most people pick the 83% Joanne. But Joanne, she's up and down. I hope you get her on a good day. All right, Johnny, what happened to Johnny? Maybe he was just lucky. And now it's really starting to come, to the truth. The data's filling in. But Andy, he sucked at the beginning. He was awful. He learned from his mistakes and he's getting better. He knows what not to do. All right, so I think Andy really got the point that ego needs to get out of the way. Eckhart Tolle talks about ego, and it's not the same as confidence or arrogance. Ego is how we define ourselves all the time by an outside perspective. How I define myself, but what you think of me. Right? That's our problem. We always define ourselves from an outside in instead of an inside out approach. Right? And then we form this mental picture of who we are. Right? And that's where we get into issues. That's why we don't want to go past comfortable. And that's why we can't be the person that our dog thinks we're going to be. You guys got any questions?